Hey guys, welcome back to Urban Legend Hunter. Tonight's story takes us to the St. Augustine Lighthouse, one of America's most haunted places, where for more than a century, people have sworn they've seen ghosts and other strange things on the stairwell. Now let's get into it. It began with a fall. A worker balanced high on the scaffolding of an unfinished tower lost his footing. The men below could only watch as he plummeted to the ground. The impact left no doubt. He was gone. It wasn't the only accident. In those years of construction, the job site was dangerous. Ropes frayed, timber shifted. One man was crushed when the rigging collapsed, pinning him beneath the very materials he was hired to lift into place. In the official records, they were just laborers lost on the job. But for the people of St. Augustine, their deaths left a mark on the lighthouse before the first lamp was ever lit. By 1874, the St. Augustine Lighthouse was complete, a black and white striped giant rising 165 feet over the Florida coast. From a distance, it looked like progress, a promise of safety. But for those who built it, and for the keepers who followed, it became something else. A place where the living and the dead seemed to walk the same halls. The keepers who lived steps away from the tower. The job was endless, and it consumed their lives in its own way. Night after night, they climbed the spiral staircase to the top, trimming the wick, polishing the lens, feeding the fire. Some collapsed from exhaustion. Others were claimed by the sea itself. Storms in the inlet, sudden drownings, bodies recovered only to be buried on the same ground where they had served. Over time, the stories began. Footsteps on the iron stairs when no one was inside. The sounds of boots grinding against metal, climbing steadily, pausing when the listener paused. A rhythm that suggests someone unseen was keeping pace. In the oil house, staff spoke of heavy iron doors slamming shut so violently that glass rattled in its frame. There were reports of tools left neatly stacked, only to be found scattered the next morning. And always the smell, a bitter trace of lamp oil drifting through empty rooms, long after the tanks had been drained. Decades passed. The lighthouse changed hands. It became a museum, a tourist stop. But the stories never stopped. Tour guides whispered them when the groups thin out. Maintenance workers repeat them, and though they wish they didn't have to. And the patterns are always the same. A shadow standing on the top landing perfectly still. By the time anyone climbs the 219 steps to reach it, the space is deserted. A voice carried on the wind, deep, male, calling out across the stairwell, even when the tower is locked for the night. For many, the climb itself is the most unsettling. The narrow spiral tightens as you go higher. The walls press closer. Every breath echoes, every footstep bounces back at you. And somewhere along the way, the unease sets in. People describe a pressure in their chest, the sensation of being followed, as if someone is a half step behind you, pacing them, always out of sight, but never out of reach. Investigators have come. Some leave with recordings of low murmurs or photographs that seem to hold shapes the eyes couldn't catch in the moment. Others leave with nothing, except the conviction that something about the place just doesn't feel right. The St. Augustine Lighthouse was built to guide sailors through dangerous waters, to keep them alive. But its foundation was laid in loss, and its history is written in accidents, sudden deaths, and unanswered echoes. A century and a half later, people still climb its stairs in search of a view of the Atlantic. Some leave with more than that, a memory they don't talk about, a presence they can't explain. And for those who step inside after dark, the question remains, is the light guiding you home? Or is it drawing you deeper into a place where the dead still linger?